once again to Mom's Belief, another workshop. And today's topic is stress in children.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir. Without wasting any time, we'll start our workshop today. Uh, we are assuming that it will be interactive based. So, to start with, we will start with our
Good
presentation.
evening, sir. Chippu.
I am Satendra Walia. I'm clinical head of Mom's Belief. Along with me is Suchita, who is the online vertical head, and Shruti Prem, who is head of our counseling department. So today's topic, as I said, is stress in children. Many parents ask this question that what stress children have. And first of all, I think it's very important for parents to know that children also have stress. So, anxiety and worries is not only a part of a difficulty with the adults, children also manifest, but they manifest in a different forms. So, we'll try to cover up what is stress in children, how do children manifest, and what parents can do to help children. So, whatever questions you have, you can put it in our comment section. We'll try to take questions from there. And in the end, after our presentation, you can send us or you can raise your hands. We'll try to unmute you and take questions from you and try to answer your queries. So I am passing it on to Shruti. Shruti, we'll start with our presentation today.
Yes, ma'am. So a very warm welcome to everyone here. So today we are going to be talking about stress in children as already told by Satinder ma'am. So the agenda. Okay, so the agenda for today's workshop, the workshop will cover what is stress, first of all, what are the stressors in children, what are the causes that, there is stress existing in children, the signs of unresolved stress, and ways and strategies as to how you can reduce and manage stress in children. So, firstly, what is stress? Stress is the body's response to any kind of physical, mental, or emotional pressure. And sometimes, we think that adults are the only ones who are prone to stress, but that's not the case. What is happening is that we don't know, or we don't have the skill to kind of understand or catch that the child is undergoing stress. And what does this stress do to our body? Stress causes a lot of damage in terms of chemical changes in the body that increases blood pressure, heart rate, blood sugar levels. And then again, when we talk about blood pressure, increase in blood sugar levels, we always think of adults going through it, but that's not the case. Even children go through it, and it is very difficult for them to process that kind of changes in the body. And these chemical changes can lead to a lot of feelings and difficult emotions like frustration, anxiety, anger, depression. There is aggression, excessive anger outbursts, temper tantrums, right? So that this is stress. This is about what is stress. Now, coming to understanding stressors in children. Now, what do I mean by when I say stressors? Stressors are nothing but sources of stress. Okay, what are the different sources that create stress for children? It can be a lot of stressors, like worrying about schoolwork, grades, academic pressure. In this pandemic situation, now everything is online. Classes are online, exams are online, assignments are online. So what happens is there is a lot of pressure in children. And mostly what happens is children, and even older adolescents, like when they are 16, 17, what happens is they are not equipped with the skills to kind of deal with that kind of anxiety. As adults, mother parents have much more better coping mechanisms than children. It becomes difficult for children. Then there are a lot of responsibilities, and we always think that adults are the only ones who have responsibilities. That is not the case. Children also have responsibilities at their own level. It can be with reference to school, their homework, sports, or any kind of other extracurricular activities that they're doing, right? And along with that, there is also some problems with socialization. That is, now again, in this pandemic situation, there is very less opportunity to kind of play with other children, socialize with other children, right? So then what happens is, the child becomes the child will start internalizing the problems that, or the stress that they're going through. They will not have anybody to share their stressors or their problems with. And there is also, when the child goes back to school, there is bullying, there's peer group pressures, there is problems in interpersonal relationships, right? And when we talk about in the lockdown, when there is change in schools, or adapting to the online modules classes, because then online lessons in some schools, what is happening is, online the videos are sent to the parents, and then the parent has to sit and teach the children. So what happens at that point is, the child is very stressful, because out because of the various changes that are occurring, and having negative thoughts about themselves. When I talk about this, this is to also look at the self esteem of the child, right? So when they start having negative thoughts about themselves, their self worth, their self esteem, everything reduces. So then that is also causing stress to the child. And when we talk about adolescents, both boys and girls, they undergo a lot of changes when they're, say, probably in the 6th standard or 7th standard. There is something called as growth spurt, wherein there is a sudden increase in the growth, both physically and psychologically. So physical changes are much more higher. Puberty hits, and then it becomes very problematic for children, because they don't know, they are not informed by their parents ki, okay, these things are going to happen. So that is also a major stressor for them. So apart from that, big changes in family. So big changes in family can include any kind of death in the family. It can be a divorce or a separation that is ongoing, and then the child having to kind of shuttle between the father and the mother's house. So these are some of the things that happens. Then there is money problems, financial problems in the family, that will have a direct impact on the child's psyche. And then there is living in an unsafe home or neighborhood. That is also another stressor for children. So now that we have looked at the different stressors that children might have, now let us look at what are signs of unresolved stress in children. Now, what do I mean by unresolved? Unresolved meaning that those situations or those stressful scenarios which are not dealt with, the parent or the child is unable to understand how to handle that situation that is stressful for the child. So this can cause a lot of signs, that cause a lot of symptoms, broadly in two ways. One is physical symptoms, and one is emotional or behavior symptoms. Now, first, when we look at physical symptoms, what all does it include? It includes different changes in eating habits, decreased appetite or increased appetite, or the child is excessively eating, right? Then there is headaches, recurrent bedwetting. The child, the older child, like 8 years or 9 years old, child is suddenly showing bedwetting during the night. So that is a alarming sign for you. That should be an alarming sign for you to get help for your child. Then there can be nightmares where the child is waking up startled in the middle of the night. Then there is sleep disturbances, excessive sleeping or decreased sleeping. Then the sleep patterns are all over the place. The child is sleeping very late, child is waking up very late, upset stomach or weak stomach pain. Now, what happens is, children who are undergoing stress will also show something called as somatic symptoms. That is, physical symptoms like stomach pain without any physical illness. So you go to a doctor, take the child to a doctor who's having stomach pain, but the doctor says that there is no issue, there is no underlying medical cause. So why does the children have the child is having this stomach pain? Is because the child is going through anxiety, going through stress, or even depression. So these are some of the physical symptoms. Now, when it comes to emotional or behavioral symptoms, the child might be perpetually anxious. That is, throughout the day, in almost all situations, the child is showing anxiety, is showing worry, right, and is not able to relax at all. The child is, excessively is very hyperactive, is not able to sit at one place, and there is new or recurring fears. Now, when we talk about fears, it can be fear of the dark, fear of being alone, fear of strangers. So previously, the child never showed these symptoms of, the child is able to sleep alone or in a different room, is, easily able to mingle with others, even with strangers. But when you start seeing symptoms like recurring fears or new fears, that is also a sign that the child is undergoing through very, very severe stress. And most parents tell us that I don't know, my child is very dependent on me, or keeps asking me, or needs reassurance for certain things. Now, why does that occur? That occurs because the child is feeling very stressed out, and the only person the child can go to with regard to this is the parents, and the child is excessively clinging and unwilling to let you out of sight. So even when the child is sent to a birthday party, the child starts crying and wants to come back fast because the mother is not there or the father is not with the child. So that kind of clinginess is also a symptom. Apart from that, anger, crying, whining, right, they want what they want immediately, impulsive behavior, not able to control emotions. So when we talk about controlling emotions, it also we also need to keep in mind about the emotional expression. The child is not able to express his emotions properly or her emotions properly. There is a lot of withdrawal. Withdrawal can be from social situations, school activities. The child is, has suddenly stopped engaging with the teacher during online classes, is not going out to play, wants to be on his own. So these are some of the withdrawal symptoms, right, of stress. And aggressive or stubborn behavior, hitting oneself, self-injurious behavior, that is called, and hitting others, pushing a sibling, excessively crying. And when it comes to older adults, what happens, older adolescents, what happens is these can also be presented as self-injurious behavior. That is, having hesitant cuts on their wrists. Girls and boys doing that because they don't know how to express their stress, they don't know how to express their anxiety. So these are some of the emotional or behavioral symptoms. Now, when to seek help? So if a child is showing the physical symptoms or the emotional and behavioral symptoms that I was talking about previously here, if the child is showing those symptoms, then definitely it is your wake up call to give the help the child requires or is demanding. The child might not come to you and ask you directly ki I need help, but the child does not understand what he's going through. So it is our responsibility to kind of understand, okay, the child is going through these concerns or these symptoms, and I need to provide that kind of help to the child. So if the child is becoming withdrawn, again, is not engaging with anybody at home or with school or outside with friends, is very unhappy, like I said, perpetually unhappy throughout the nothing seems to kind of lift the mood of the child, is feeling depressed and is having problems in school. The child is not performing adequately in academics, is the social skills are very poor, is not interacting with friends, is unable to control their behavior or anger. See, you as parents, definitely you will understand when a child is not able to control their behavior, control their emotions or their anger, specifically. So you need to be more observant as to when the child requires help. Because if that does not happen, then it kind of, the child is going through a difficult situation. It is very difficult for a child to handle so many things when they don't know what to do, when they're feeling a certain way. Now, how parents can help? First of all, providing a safe, secure, and dependable home. By this, what I mean is to provide a strong emotional bond, to have a strong emotional bond with the child, both the mother and father. Um, and the child, whatever the child is going through, the parents can make sure that there is this is a safe, the house is the safe space where the child can come and share whatever is happening at school or outside. Creating family routines, creating weekly routines like going out for a picnic, or going to or watching a movie together, or doing some kind of a play activity together. Creating a routine where the child and you are together, and the child and you are able to share whatever needs to be shared. And being a role model, so being a role model is the most important role of a parent with regards to any kind of problem the child is facing. It may be behavioral issue, it may be anxiety, it may be stress. When you as a parent are not portraying certain adequate behaviors or emotions, the child will imitate you. The child is observing you more than you can see. The child is observing every move of yours. So if you are going to deal with your own stress and face your own stressful situations in a better way, the child will also, it will also get transferred to the child. And apart from that, being very careful about what your child is watching on the television, what kind of games are getting downloaded on the phone, because there are so many games like violent which involves a lot of violence and inappropriate content for children, which are easily available. So it is always advised that you can keep some parental controls on your any of the devices that are there at home, because children learn very quickly to use devices. So keeping your child informed about anticipated changes. Now this is also one of the main strategies or things that parent can do is, for example, if there is going to be a big change, such as, for example, a separation or a divorce, then the child should be prepared. The child should not simply put into a situation without the child having any knowledge as to, okay, what is happening, what is going on. So the child will be left confused, and the emotions and feelings will also be undealt with. And apart from that, spend calm, relaxed time with your children. This can be listening to music, gardening, cooking, involving your child in all of these things. Apart from that, learn to listen. So it is not always the children who need to listen, right? It's not always about us giving instructions and the child listening to us. It is also about us learning to listen to what they have to say, because that's important. Only then there will be a certain amount of self respect, right? And building your child's feeling of self worth. It can be so when you are teaching your child skills of self esteem or feelings of self esteem or self worth, you yourself need to have a certain amount of that. Only then the child will also be able to catch those. Allowing the child to make child opportunities to make choices and have some control in their life, allowing them some kind of autonomy. It can be as simple as choosing what they want for breakfast or lunch. That itself will give them a lot of self confidence as well. And encouraging physical activity, and finally, seeking help or advice from a healthcare provider, counselor, or a therapist when signs of stress do not decrease or disappear. Definitely, whatever I have shared with you as to how you can help your child, you can definitely try those things. But it will, to really make an effective change, you can get that professional help from a counseling psychologist or a therapist. So some other ways of reducing stress in children is making sure that they get the proper rest, proper number of hours of sleep according to their age, the adequate nutrition, balanced diet, as well as good parenting. So when I say good parenting, there are different parenting styles that one can adopt. So getting yourself evaluated as to what kind of parenting styles is the best for your children, that would also help in boosting the coping skills of your child as well as yourself. spending quality time, helping your child cope with stress by talking about what may be causing it. And you can, as I said, you can also help by, informing the child about potentially stressful situation and preparing them for it. And always remember that some level of stress is normal. No human being is stress free. You and I, we have a lot of stress. We all have stress. We undergo stressful situations, like, going to the doctor, or even giving an exam, giving a job interview. These are all stressful situations for all of us. So even for children, some level of stress is normal. But when that stress goes out of control and starts creeping in almost all situations, that's when you need to raise the alarm and take your child to a therapist. So to help your child cope with these stressful emotions, what we can do is, children might not come and share with you directly what they're feeling. So you can open the conversation by you yourself talking about your own stressful situations, so that it gives them also a trust and confidence in you. Okay, I can also share what I'm feeling. And there are some books that I have put down here. Alexander and the Terrible, Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Day by Judith. And some of these books, these are all social stories that will help young kids identify with certain characters of the book, that in stressful situations, how do they cope. And if you are finding it difficult to find the resources for your child, you can always consult us, and we will be of help to you. So what are some of the, so now that I've told you ways in which you can cope with the stress of in your children, there are certain specific strategies also that you can use, starting with deep breathing, right? Breathe in deeply, hold the breath, then slowly release it. So you can repeat this as a cycle. You can breathe, you can help your child learn this technique. Breathe in for 3 seconds, hold the breath for 3 seconds, and then slowly releasing it for 3 seconds. So this can be repeated for about 5 minutes. It will help your child to quickly calm down. Apart from that, progressive muscle relaxation. Now, progressive muscle relaxation is, you can carry this out through a very easy method. It can be like an activity for your child as well. Imagine that you are squeezing a lemon, right? And you can keep a lemon in front of the child itself, show the example, and squeeze the lemon, drop the lemon, and then relax your hands. So what is happening is, we are contracting and releasing the muscles. We are stressing the muscle, and then we are de-stressing the muscle. So another thing that you can do is pushing your toes into the mud, and then again stepping out of the mud and relaxing your feet. Then the third technique that we can use is stretching. So stretching can be hand stretching, general body stretching, stretching the arms, stretching the legs, stretching the fingers, the palm, and listening to music together, playing, exercising, heading out into nature, and playing games like scavenger hunt. Then the 5 4 3 2 1 technique. That in this technique, what happens is, you need to encourage your child to sit down and take him or her to the balcony or the garden that you have in your society probably, and ask the child to identify 5 things you can see, 4 things that you can hear, 3 that you can feel with the hands, 2 the child can smell, and 1 the child can taste. So these are all mindfulness meditation techniques that will really help the child, easily distress. And other than that, using brain breaks when facing a difficult academic challenge. For example, flower breathing. This is another strategy that you can adopt quite easily. What you can do is, you can take a flower, a real flower, and put it right in front of your child's nose, and ask the child to smell the flower. What will this do? This will help the child inhale. And after that, put the flower right in front of the child's face and ask the child to blow the flower. That is, so inhaling and exhalation happens in this technique. So there are very many techniques. These are just a few examples that you can, really use at home. and you don't really need a lot of things. And apart from that, your actions, what do you have to do? First of all, to take care of your child, you need to take care of yourself. You need to exercise, practice something called as self-care, and that is eating right, doing the adequate amount of exercise, breathing exercises, meditation, and keeping an, so only when you take care of yourself can you really keep an eye out for understanding the signs and behaviors of unresolved stress in your children, right? And listening to your child without critical, without being critical or solving problems for them, providing guidance to teach your child ways to understand and solve the problems that upset them. So what happens many times, what happens is when a child is faced with a stressful situation, in most cases the child will not know how to handle it. So as a parent, or even if you're taking a help from a professional, what we need to do is we need to help the child solve the problem, not directly solve the problem ourselves. So in these cases what happens, the child will never learn how to kind of face the situations on his or her own. And lastly, provide affection, encouragement. And whenever your child is able to kind of achieve the closest of the goal that you have set for the child or the child's own goal, always use positive reinforcement. Give a reward. It can be a toy, it can be a favorite food, that will encourage the child to do better and better. So, in conclusion, what I would like to say is that it is very important for us to listen and observe firstly. Understand your mind space can affect children. That is how your mental health is. That has a direct impact on your child's mental health. So you need to take care of yourself. You need to solve your unresolved stressors, and then you need to move on to working with your child and identifying stressors, making changes at home, learning strategies that work. Again, I have shared a lot of strategies that are there. It might work differently for different children. So you need to pick and choose what strategies work for the child and what strategies are not working for the child. And whatever works for the child, be consistent with it. It is not a one day exercise to kind of help the child get out of stress. It's an ongoing process. You need to be consistent day in and day out, throughout the week, throughout the month, probably throughout the year, for that kind of change to happen. And lastly, seek professional help. There is a certain increase in the results that you would want to see or achieve when a professional steps in. And that kind of guidance is very important for you also to assess your parenting styles and your methods of parenting your child. So I would like to close the workshop with this quote: I am thankful for my struggle because without it, I wouldn't have stumbled across my strength. Thank you. And now the forum is open for questions.
Thank you, Shruti. That was a great presentation. So we would like to open up the question answer sessions now. We do have some comments, and thank you everyone for appreciating Shruti's hard work. Any particular question anybody wants to ask? You want to raise your hand?
Ma'am, I have unmuted Priya. She had raised her hand.
Sure.
Priya, you can ask.
Hello. Yeah, thank you. Hi, ma'am. This is Priya here. I just wanted to say it was a wonderful presentation. I just do have a query. See, now in this lockdown, I'm from Mumbai. So kids are still frustrated with the way things are, like, with the school not opening up and the uncertainty. So in spite of, repeatedly giving them comfort, how do we deal with that? The stress is leading to anger and frustration. So how does one deal with that?
Shruti, you want to take this?
Ma'am, that my daughter is 12 years old. So around this age, she's normally used to, playing with her friends and all that. So now they have started staying since 2-3 months, but it's not like a full-fledged thing here in Bombay. Again, if you see now the numbers have increased again, so again we have to be careful. And not meeting the school friends is a big issue. With not only her, actually her friends, a lot of them are actually going through this stress wherein they are having these headaches. Her friends are having headaches and all that due to stress. Their mothers have checked them up, but I think due to the stress where they're keeping everything inside themselves, it's happening. And my daughter is just getting angry and she keeps everything inside her. So in spite of giving her comfort, being with her, like ma'am said, having family time, but that anger is still there, like why things are not getting back to normal, in spite of they know the reality, but still it is difficult for them to accept it.
Right. So I think it's pretty normal for them to be having that anger. I think all of us are frustrated at some level or the other about why the situations are not getting better. So I think what we can do at this point is in terms of, socialization is a very important aspect in terms of when we're raising children and specifically in adolescent life. So give them an opportunity. Maybe you can start with, having some, let's say a party at your place, or maybe, so that at least you can ensure that they're safer, as well as they get an opportunity to interact with their friends. So maybe it'll be a little bit of effort as parents for you. Help them also with, if you feel the anger is high, maybe getting her to sit down, and let her talk it out as to what exactly is bothering her and why exactly she's feeling the way she's feeling. Watch the amount of time she's spending in terms of with on your phones and iPads, because there is enough research evidence that says the more time you spend over these gadgets, the higher the anger, frustration increases. So maybe that is something, helping her get an outlet is something that I would recommend. I think Shruti and Satinder, if you'd like to add something here.
Absolutely. Just to add to what Suchita said, as you said, Priya, these are difficult times. And I think, unfortunately, parents have to do all the hard work. So it's like we ourselves as a parent are going through stress because these are difficult times for everybody, because it's not only that children are getting impacted, even adults are getting impacted now. It's been almost 1 year. We are stuck, uncertainty still persists, but that is something we cannot, kind of, we don't have control on that, and that's where the resilience comes. And this is, if you see, a lot of people are talking about resilience at this time. That means what are the coping strategies which you develop during the time when there is stress. So some of the activities which Shruti said, you can practice that. Spending some consistent family time, finding out where you can connect with your child and consistently giving them hope and reassurance that this time will pass away. Because children, although we also need that kind of a reassurance, but kids need it more than us as adults. So if children are getting angry or something, please don't react back with anger. Understand they are frustrated. Some of your parenting techniques will have a huge impact on them, and some of the things which Shruti had already mentioned, having a routine, having a consistent lifestyle. Even if we all are working from home or school is at home, it's, we cannot compare it. The focus should not be on the skills or the education or the studies. The focus should be that routine should be maintained. You should grasp as much as possible. So keeping that in mind, and there are a lot of good strategies on UNICEF website if you want to try that. If you need help, you can contact us. But being patient yourself, reassuring your children, letting them know this time should pass, and some of these things which Shuchita said, that trying to make some special events or something where children can still meet with each other. So we are still better off. We are not in a lockdown situation. So we can try that children can have some time where they can spend with their colleagues and their friends. Shruti, you want to add something?
No, ma'am. I can see another question here by Nisha Savale. My child is 4 years old and every day she don't want to join online school. She is very angry when I told her to sit. What should I do for her? So what happens is, this is also one of our unrealistic expectation that a 4-year child should, sit in front of the screen for a specific amount of time for their online classes. That is, again, it is a change in situation for them, and that will cause a lot of stress for the child. The child is angry, the child is upset that I need to sit in front of a screen and listen to a teacher talking about things. So what you can do is, rather than simply forcing her to sit, you give her, you can either give her some kind of break during the duration of the class. Or what you can do is you can also give her positive reinforcements. Like I was saying the other time, you can tell the child that, okay, if you sit for a certain amount of time, you will get your favorite playtime, or a toy, or a favorite food item. So this is something that you can do. And again, listen to what she has to say. Talk to your child. Look at what kind of distress she's also going through, or he's also going through. That is one of the things that you can do for this.
I think I'd like to add here, Nisha, you probably want to maybe recheck if she rested properly. What we don't know the time, she's going in for her online classes and all, but is you fed her properly, if she's rested or not? What exactly is her resistance to, wanting to? What does she say to you when she says, I don't want to join it? I'm sure there is something that's bothering her, and that is why she's consistently feeling so angry with you, right? So there's a reason why she's trying to express something. So maybe you need to a little bit of explore there what is going on. I think we also have another question where somebody said, can I ask a question related to my stress? Aniket, absolutely. So Jalaj, if you could unmute him, and then we can have them ask a question.
I think he left the meeting. Yeah.
Just to add to the parents who are very worried about their children not attending the classes, believe me, they will bounce back. So please don't fret about it. Academic skills can always be learned. If you have a break, you can always go back to education. So right now, more stress should be given on their emotional and social well-being rather than only considering stress. Not paying attention on online classes should not be, and especially for younger children, should not be a big concern. So it is the parent stress that my child is not attending classes. It's not something which is really, really should be on your charter at this time. So can we take another question?
Yeah, we have a question from Swati. She says, my son is highly introvert. How do I encourage him to open up? Either one of you wants to take it. Shruti, do you want to take it?
Okay, so what we need to do for your child is that there are certain deficits in skills that we can say. It might be self-esteem, it might be self-confidence. So we need to, so the child probably does not have the skills to, engage with other children or engage with his or her peers. So what we need to start developing the child is these skills. And it is not, again, it's not a process, it's not something that we can achieve in a day. We need to constantly work with the child directly. And we do have specialists for the same. So you can probably get in touch with us, and I think we can take it from there.
And also, just to add to what Shruti said, that introvert is not a something which is, it's not a disease or it's not a disability. It's just a personality type. So, there are times when children will find out the ways. Until and unless it is not causing anxiety and the child is not wanting to speak, they should not be pushed at. And as Shruti said, that individual differences are difficult in a bigger forum, so that can be taken out separately. So we have another question. My son is 7 years old. He plays 4 or 5 hours. See TV. Also, after that, he wants I play with him. Issue that when I free, he's busy with playing TV. When he free, I busy. Please suggest. Okay. So, Suchita, you want to take it?
Yes, absolutely. I think it's an easy puja. You need to figure out what your schedule is. I think the easiest way that you can work around, having some time together is trying and coincide your own schedules. It's not about whether he's not busy while he's watching TV, right? I think it's free time only that is being engaged in activity or watching or playing. So maybe you can engage at that point of time, sit down with him, play with him, watch what he's watching, ask questions. I think you'll be easily. So we have very strict ideas about what parent child time should be like. There's a lot that parents can do together with their child, as long as you can be. And it's very easy to connect with your child if you actually start taking part in the activity that they are doing. Like if the child is watching something on the mobile, if you can just hold the mobile and watch together, and then help them ask questions around it, talk to them, ask them what is it that interest, you're able to bond better. you will be able to establish a better relationship with your child. You will also be able to, you know, make sure that your child begins to open up with you about what are their difficulties and all. So rather than trying to say कि हम कैसे time match करें एक दूसरे के साथ, I think time तो time ही है, मतलब पूरा दिन है, and engage him in your activities also, you know, simply say, oh, you're free right now, why don't you come help me, I'm busy, you know. So get
Yeah,
into whatever
yeah,
activities that
sure.
you do.
ये मैं करती हूँ उसके साथ
And-
टाइम भी स्पेंड करती हूँ, उसको टाइम देती भी हूँ. इश्यूज दैट मेरे पास मेरा एक और बेबी है, ही इज नाउ 2 years, तो दैट्स वाई थोड़ा सा इशू हो जाता है.
तो बेबी के साथ इन्वॉल्व करना है. 2 years आई थिंक सबसे बड़ा, सबसे इजीएस्ट वे बड़े बच्चों को
प्रॉब्लम क्या
रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी
है,
सिखाने की यही होती है.
बट माय लिटिल बेबी इज वेरी जो छोटा मेरा बेबी है ना, वो बहुत ज्यादा शरारती है, बहुत ज्यादा नॉटी है, दोनों लड़ पड़ते हैं, मतलब इतना गैप है, आफ्टर दैट दे आर फाइटिंग.
So I think बहुत easy तरीका. I think you need to set certain, you know, like, okay, these are the things that you do for the baby. So that will help with the sibling bonding also. Because जब specific बच्चों में gap भी होता है ना, तब ज़्यादा और ज़रूरी हो जाता है. That sense of responsibility introduce करना, उनको समझाना कि अच्छा, you know, ये part आप ही करो, ताकि at least help me with it. So दोनों बच्चों में एक certain amount of relationship and connection बैठता है, which is very important. वरना वो बहुत difficult होता है अगर age gap ज़्यादा होता है बच्चों में. So maybe that is what you can probably start doing, Pooja.
Okay, thanks.
And there's another question. My nephew is 10 years old, wants to play video games for the whole day instead of online classes. If we deny, he behaves in a very furious way. Since morning till night, he spends time on playing videos. His mother is doing work from home, cannot sit with him for more time. So this is what we call behavioral issues. These are these are also dependent on the parenting styles that you have, you know, his mother or his father or his whoever is taking care of the child has taken up. So we need to kind of evaluate the parenting style of the child, of the parents, and then you know, create changes in that, and in turn that will also modify the behavior of the child. And definitely in this child's case, there is also a lot of screen time that is you know, given to the child. So probably limiting that, you know, having strict you know, time periods where you can give the child video games. So that's ma'am, anything else you want to add, or you can.
I think the easiest way to deal with this situation would be, if you feel that he's behaving in a furious way, let him behave in a furious way and not give any sort of reaction at all. I think somewhere it's very important for us to set boundaries as parents, you know, that line should never be, you know, crossed. So it's okay for them to understand, and then maybe then have a, you know, one-on-one talk in terms of what is expected and what is not expected. Like what we say, there are certain things which are negotiable, and there are certain rules or certain aspects of behavior that are non-negotiable. So I think it's important as a parent, you need to have a get the 10-year-old to sit down and have a talk about what is okay and what is not okay, irrespective of whether the mother has work to do or is she working from home. Like sometimes, because if you're not going to address this right now, Gunjan, it's going to increase, and you would require a lot of intervention, and you know, because it's going to get out of hand. So it's something that maybe if you can connect with us on one-on-one, we can help you and guide you through as to how you can actually achieve this right now. We also have a question on, could you suggest more measures to motivate the children during these times? Lockdown may be imposed and they're having a lot of challenges with social skills. Moreover, children are forced to handle gadgets as dependency for online classes. How can we control misuse and addiction? There's a lot of questions here. So I think we'll take it one by one. More measures to motivate children during, definitely yes, like we spoke about, giving them options for socializing, you know, letting them have their friends over. You will be letting them go to their friends maybe in smaller groups so that they can be taken care of. Also encouraging a lot of you know, them to be part of certain activities, maybe develop interests that they like, maybe pick up a hobby that they can pursue. So it could be something that they're learning online and then replicating it, but then I think it's very important for us as parents to be able to give them this opportunity, right? Satinder, please feel free to add. Right, another thing that you're asking is, how do we force to handle gadgets as a dependency for online classes? Definitely there's a lot of dependence on gadgets right now. There's a lot of, I think all of us are dependent on gadgets. There's no way that we're leaving gadgets. Either we're on a phone or we're on a laptop and we're consistently working, because that's such as are the ways of life right now. But how do we control? There are a lot of parental controls that are there online. You need to be very careful of the history that your child is, exploring. Maybe keep a check on, their browsing history. There are parental checks and controls. There are on available on the internet that you can apply. And then maybe even if you catch them using something, or maybe some sort of a misuse or a thing, I don't think you should be, as a parent, we should react aggressively or negatively. It's an opportunity to look at the fact and maybe talk to your child and sit down and speak to them exactly what is it that they're exploring and why is it they want to explore that aspect, and have a good chat about it. So I think that's how I think that we can control as to what they're watching, and how do we ensure that there is no misuse, right? And as far as addiction, definitely we limit the time, we limit the content. As parents, we need to be watchful. हमें लगता है बच्चा चुपचाप बैठ के कुछ कर रहा है तो we don't need to see because बच्चा engaged है. बट बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट होता है कि आप एज अ पेरेंट जानो कि बच्चा कर क्या रहा है, किस तरीके का कंटेंट देख रहा है, एंड एज लॉन्ग एज वो कंटेंट अच्छा है, इन्फॉर्मेटिव है, लर्निंग से भरा हुआ है, देर इज नो हार्म इन दैट बिकॉज इट्स नॉट गोइंग टू लीड टू अल्टीमेट एडिक्शन और एनीथिंग. But if it's content which is aggressive in nature, they're playing a lot of video games which are you can see the changes happening in children. So I think these are also ways you can pick up signs whether it's an addiction or it's them crying for it, they're getting angry if they're not using it, then losing out their food and eating over watching TV or watching their gadgets. These are some of the things that we can pick up for addiction.
I'll just add to what Suchita said, that one thing I'm just sharing as a parent, that we all parent are getting very worried about screen addiction, screen addiction. When somebody is sad, we don't call that as depression. So same way, somebody watching too much stimulation right now are not addiction. We have to see the parameters right now, the environment in which we are. One also has to understand children who are adolescent or 10 or 11 years. Video games are actually the way of connecting with other people as well. Children are connecting. If you're a lone child or just one or two children in the house and you don't have the same age children, via video games children are actually socializing also. So it again, if you are able to maintain the routine of the child, if you're able to put them on bed, if after certain time you have a time zone out of the screen, then things will be definitely fine. But if the children are sleeping with the screen and not able to maintain their routine, not eating properly, not doing the daily chores, then I would say that you need to really intervene. But spending time on screen, because classes are also on screen now, so this whole idea of spending too much time on screen is not something which we should very bothered about. We should be worried more that what it is to be done so that children are using the screen for their better. We are also telling them to sit in front for the coding classes. We are also telling them to do a lot of things online only. So be mindful, all that counts to the screen time. So in order to, again, if you're a working parent, you may not have much options left for yourself also. So as a parent, I would not give guilt to another parent that, okay, your child is spending too much time on screen. Again, you can monitor the content, you can monitor the routine. After some time, have a time zone of no screen time. So that would be most important. I think there are questions regarding the stress during the exams. Suchita, you want to take that?
I want to take that, but before that, I want to take Rupali's question. It says, my son is 5.5 years old and he's not taking any interest in anything apart from some days or months. He's very short tempered, shouting all the time and on everyone, and all the time raising hand on everyone. I couldn't able to handle him. I'm a single mother. I'm also a depression patient. I think, Rupali, you should please leave your number and we'd like to get in touch with you. This is not a forum because we'd like to explore and understand what exactly has been going on with you and your son, and if there are any changes that have happened in your life recently. But we definitely like to help. So if you could leave your number, we can have somebody reach out to you and talk to you in detail and support you through this, right? Again, then you said certain questions around exam stress, right?
Yeah.
So yes, tough times coming, right? According to parents, we don't see that as really difficult times, but I think it's very important. Parents play a very important role in exam stress and managing children during this time. I think the easiest thing that you can do to support them is keep a calm environment at home. Okay, let's not make a big deal out of the fact that they have an exam, whether it's 10th or 12th. Yes, they're important exams, but it's important to also give children a message that these are not life defining exams. Okay, nothing's going to change. 10th के बाद 11th में ही जाएंगे, and as a parent also I want to give you this message. 10th के बाद 11th में ही जाएंगे, subject choices ही मिलेंगी. It's not the end of the world. And sometimes as parents, because this is how we've been raised, that board exams are a big deal, we make it a big deal, and then we try and nullify it at every time. So it's important, be mindful of the conversation that you're having. Please be watchful. Are you asking too many questions about padhai kari hai ki nahi kari hai, or all your conversation centered around talking about exams? If that is happening, you're anyways creating a gap between and adding to their stress than anything else. Encourage children to be able to be in control. I think the easiest way to manage stressful times and support children is to help them understand that they are the ones in control, showing them that you believe them, yeah, that they also want good for themselves. A lot of times we as parents we forget, हमें लगता है कि बच्चों को चाहिए ही नहीं, बच्चों को पता ही नहीं है उनको लाइफ में क्या करना है, या वो पढ़ नहीं रहे हैं, वो ध्यान नहीं दे रहे हैं. This is the time when you give them confidence, you let them believe that you believe them, and then that they can do it, right? Criticism से दूर रहना चाहिए, right? Critical system में हमारे critical parenting is not a very high thing, but we need to get that out, right? So it's a very huge big topic, more or less, and something to deal with. So quickly, I can just simply tell you that as parents, this is what you need to play a supportive role and not necessarily a critical role at this moment, right? And help them prepare better, give them the confidence that they'll be able to do this. Okay. Anything that you'd like to add, Shruti and Satinder?
No, I think Shruti has
dropped out or something.
Dropped out.
Yeah.
So we have another question. Child not opening up. He does not show interest towards studies, but he's very active and good at learning, has good creativity skills. Shushma, your son is again the same thing. He's 8 years old. Many children are not very, very academic oriented. Looks like the child is very creative, and I would only advise that please hone those skills. That is also very, very important skills. And if we think about talking about how to manage anxiety and stress, that's a very good way. Let the child do what they are doing. Again, let's not get so much worried about academics, parents. It will come back. Maintain certain routine, maintain certain level of some academic rigor. See that their skills should not drop out in reading, writing, and math skills. If that is happening, rest curriculum they'll be able to pick up. So don't make and don't stress so much about it. So if the child is good at creativity, provide the opportunity where child can actually do more creative stuff. That would be my. Suchita, you want to add to that?
No, I think I completely agree to whatever you're saying. We have a lot of questions on children displaying, behaviors like crying all of a sudden over nothing, or maybe laughing all of a sudden over nothing. I think these are just statements that we'd like to explore more about. We'd want to understand exactly as to what is happening and what are the situations in which this is happening. So I'd seriously make a genuine interest, request that the parents who are facing such issues about children crying at the drop of a hat, that means there is something amiss, there's something not right, and you need specialized help for that. So I think you should be please reaching out to us, or maybe leaving your details so that we can reach out to you and support you through this. Then let's do we have more questions? Rupali, yes, I feel so, but depression is a very big word. So that's I'm requesting you to get in touch with us so that we can help you through this. And whatever it is, even if it is depression, we'll help you through this. Okay, there's nothing that we can't. Behavior is something that you can always reverse and manage.
Priya has a question. She has raised her hand. I will be unmuting her now. Priya, you can ask your question now.
Hello. Hello.
Yes, Priya.
Ma'am, if you have noticed, I spoke to you sometime back initially.
Yeah.
I have also put in a chat box, like my daughter who's 12, like I said, she's undergoing, she had a fracture 2 years back, that is last year. And she lost out on her spot in gymnastics state level. And now again, that plate removal surgery is there. They had to insert a metal plate on her, that is 2 years back. She was just 10 and now she's 12. So now, it's weighing heavily, that she can't do anything. She's very sportive actually, very good, and she's done well in gymnastics. So I'm not able to console her the fact that, no, things will be fine and, she'll get back into sports or whatever. That way. So study-wise, she's doing very fine. But she's very depressed in the sense that like after the surgery again, like for 2 months she'll be grounded kind of a thing. I can't send her out to play or anything.
Right.
And mainly her sportive thing is what she's worried about, that again she will not be able to do sports because her left hand, it needs to heal. The fracture is healed. That's the reason we are doing the plate now. But the thing has hit her very badly, and she's really depressed on that count. Like, I can't go back to that point.
So I understand, I think she has all the very reasons to be feeling the way she's feeling, right? And it is definitely a tough time for her because it must be having a lot of impact on her self-esteem. And sometimes, as much as we want to, we would tell the right things to our children, they feel that we're a parent and therefore we're saying it, or they feel it that, because you know me and because you love me, so you're saying all of these things, but life's not going to get better. That is when you need a professional coming in, Priya, to help your child understand and gain that confidence.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to know.
Yeah.
Should I take counseling for her?
I
Because
think
it's been
it's
2
a good
years.
idea. Yes, it is.
Yeah, it's been 2 years and she's seriously depressed, and she's a very, happy-go-lucky child kind of a thing. She tries to keep us happy and all that by laughing around. But inside, I know that anger, like I said, that she has, it's because of the frustration,
I'm sure, because it was her dreams and there were certain aspirations around it. So I would definitely suggest that you seek a counselor support. Definitely.
Sure. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
Two people also raised hand. So, Jalaj, if you can see. 4-year-old poking, pinching, fighting with family members. Again, it could be impact of being at home and stuck at home for a long time. So please don't get so restless. Try to distract the child and try to help them as much as possible. And also 4 and 5-year-old actually typically do indulge in physical, fighting, and they do kind of hit others. So it's a phase. It can be a phase, but you can continue to distract the child and not try to punish them for that. And definitely don't get angry and hit back, because then you are reacting to their behaviors. Then they will tend to imitate you more. So those are few things you can do. Uh, do we have other people asking question? Jalaj, can you unmute?
No, there are no more people asking questions. Ma'am, I think there are a few questions in the chat box also.
So I think we have one question where she's asking that my son used to play a lot. And
Shivani, I'm unmuting her. She has raised her hand.
yeah.
Yes, ma'am. This is my question.
Yes, Shivani. So tell us about it now that you're on unmute. Did you just mute her again, Jalaj? My son used to be in outdoor activities before COVID, and after this COVID, he's only into games, especially PUBG. And how can I bring him out of this? Please help. Satinder, do you want to take this?
Shivani, you can unmute yourself now.
Okay.
Shivani, are you there?
Yes, ma'am. You're able to hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we are.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, my son was into basketball and he was a very good player. And we were in Pune at that particular time in the month of March 2020, before the lockdown. And he was going to play for the state level. And for 4-5 hours, he used to play and very fit. And he also played a lot of drums, drum classes. So, but due to this online and COVID, everything changed. And this year, a lot of behavior changes have happened. And no social circle, and at home only he's there due to this pandemic. And a lot of games he's playing. Can you suggest what can I do wherein, instead of this game, he's again back to his routine and things come up really well as it was for me last year?
So I want to ask a question before we answer. I think Satinder, you can answer this. But when you try and push him back into going and playing outside, what exactly does he say? What is
Ma'am,
it?
actually, the kids are not coming in the society. The parents are so scared. I know the cases are increasing very high. Even in the month of Diwali, they were around 8,000, 9,000. In Maharashtra was the first state to have a lot of cases. And even parents are not sending their kids. And when I talk to different parents, they are also having the same issues. They are saying, "Arey, bacche aate hi nahi niche khelne." So children have only one option, only to play with PUBG. That's it. But we don't find this game really good. But all the boys, I think this age, everybody is into PUBG and Valorant, and this game has really made the parents crazy. Yeah, ma'am.
So, Shivani, my question was actually the same thing. Rather than pushing what else can we do right now? These are times where the children cannot go out because of various reasons. There are restrictions. So, first of all, I want to reassure you they'll bounce back when the moment the restrictions will get uplifted. So, that could be 6 months down the line, that could be 1 year, we all don't know. But this time will pass away. It's not going to stay. There's been 1 year, we've all survived, we'll survive another 6 months, 1 year, so don't worry. Now, coming to all children playing PUBG, yes, they are. These video games can be very, very addictive. They can be very, very stimulating, and children like to play on them. The only thing which you can do is you can talk to your child, looks like he's mature enough. Tell him, give him a time limit, that this is the time limit we are going to let you. Because if you say that he should stop playing that, that's not going to happen, because this is all children are playing of their age. They have to be familiar. And there are some, I won't say there are benefits of using this, of doing these video games, but they are also not very easy. For the only disadvantage is they are very, very violent in nature. So I
Yes,
would
ma'am.
say, if you will just talk to them and frequently talk about disadvantages, don't worry, your child is not becoming violent. Have connection with them, and just time limit that. Let them know that maybe a couple of hours or something I will allow you, rest I will not. And try to find out other ways of engaging them. So, but don't get so much worried about that. If he's playing PUBG, then it's a bad thing. Don't put so much pressure, because children have to do what other children are also doing. So that I would not kind of advise you to put so much pressure. And the moment you can force him to go out and play with couple of kids if possible, try to organize that. And try as much as you can to find out a way where he can go outside and play with other children. But hang on, this shall also pass, so don't worry.
Yeah, I think I'd like.
Yeah, everyone is waiting for the same only, ma'am. That hopefully things will really improve and things will be on back
I think I'm of
track.
an opinion that I think as parents now, to get our children to start socializing back, and we need to take charge. We don't, earlier it was like an expected thing, शाम होएगी बच्चा नीचे जाएगा खेल के वापस आ जाएगा. I think it's important that we take this into our own hands and do that for them, arrange those things. Like you're saying, if you're talking to other parents and they are also saying कोई आता नहीं है, तो फिर एक गेट टुगेदर अरेंज करते हैं ना, ठीक है आप शाम को भेजो, मैं भी भेज रही हूँ. So that initiative and that ownership will have to come from us only as parents, to saying कि अच्छा अब उनको साथ में लाना है बच्चों को, right? And maybe go yourself, or maybe over a, not, I'm sure not, you'll not be able to do it on a daily basis, but to get him to back as to, okay, the fact that he's missed out on playing so much, maybe over on a Sunday you can take, or your husband can take together and maybe just play around and see, okay, let me see, challenge him कि अच्छा आता भी है, याद है खेलना, चलो एक गेम खेल के आते हैं, sorts. So then they understand what they're missing, right? So it's just getting them back into the grind and getting them back into those habits again. This is what we need to do to push them,
Okay,
right?
fine, ma'am. Thank you.
Right. So I think we're short on time now, so we'll take one last question. It says Vishwa says, my daughter is 10 years, no experience of parenting, blindly brought my girl up with all ups and downs. I need to change her, can I? Nobody has any experience in parenting. I think we're all blindly bringing our children up. So Vishwa, feel confident that we're all on the same boat. There is no right and wrong way of parenting, but if you feel there are certain things, there have been ups and downs, and you feel that could have impacted her, or maybe why you feel the need to change her, we'd like to understand that first, and if there is a need for change also or not. And we can definitely, yes. And then as far as change is concerned, we all can change ourselves, no matter what the age. We need to have the intent, right? And so we can do that. Right, anything that you'd like to add, Satinder? So maybe Vishwa, you can get in touch with her,
Yeah.
get in touch with us, and we'll help you understand how we can go about this.
Parenting does not come with one manual. There are many manuals for it. And adversaries also teach children. So don't feel bad about it. So it's okay.
Yeah. Okay. So you can reach out. I think we'll leave our contact details in the chat box below. Jalaj, if you could drop them, or you can also, leave your contact numbers, and we can have our team reach out to you and help you with whatever the concerns are.
Thank you for joining us today. And I hope we were useful to you. And next week we'll come again with another workshop on stress and similar topic. So thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye bye.